Hey guys, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Welcome back to another live. If you don't know already, Calibrate Tools and DIY, we're dedicated to tools, home improvement, DIY, trade skills. We're dedicated to talking about those subjects. And why is that? Why? Because I think it's very important. I think it's been overlooked. I think it's an opportunity that in the trades, especially, that's wide open today. I mean, there's a shortage of skilled trade workers, um, and that gap needs to be filled. So if you're, looking to learn a new skill or something like that, feel free to look into the trades. I'm telling you, it's a lot of opportunity out there, a lot of money to be made, and it's not about getting your hands dirty. When I say the trades, it doesn't necessarily mean you got to swing a hammer. I mean, it's the uh, the field. When I say the trades is so wide, I mean it can mean information technology to swinging a hammer on a construction site. I mean, it's so many things: welding, HVAC, plumbing, carpentry, all that stuff. That in today's world may seem like, oh, that's beneath me. Well, it's not. And even if you have a paper degree and you're looking for that cushy job in an office somewhere that's not guaranteed to you, um, let me tell you something. If you pick up a skill, you'll always get paid. Always get paid, by the way. Come on in the chat, say hi. Love it when you guys interact. I do these lives because I want to interact. I want to talk about things that are not necessarily showing you how to use a tool or something like that. I like to, touch on subjects that range from economics, politics, all that stuff, the market, whatever, um, that relate to self improvement, progress, and all that stuff. Okay, so that's what I'm about. Hey, the Waffle 2, good evening. How are you today? Glad to see you coming in. I'm glad you graced our presence in the chat, the Waffle 2. Thank you very much. Yeah, guys, come on in and say hi. I love it. I love it. I love it when you come on and say hi. Perry Life Notes, how you doing? What's up? How you doing, Perry Life Notes? Yeah, yeah. So, hey, guys, I'm not going to talk your head off with all the pleasantries and stuff like that. I'm going to dive right into it. If you read the title of this live, what does it say? 10,000 hours to master your craft. And I put a question mark at the end of that because is that true? Do you believe it takes that long to master your craft? And I think it equates to around a little over well, if you divide 10,000 by 24 hours. Let's see here. Let me do that. So somebody do the math for me real quick. So, but nobody, you're not going to practice. Okay, before I do the math, let's just say that you're not going to practice your craft for 24 hours a day. You're not going to do that. You got other things to take care of. But let's just say about 8 hours, right? 8 hours a day. And I'm going to say 7 days a week if you're really dedicated. Let's say 8 hours a day, 10,000 hours divided by 8. And you got 1,250 days, right? And you divide that by 365. 1,250 divided by 365. That's a little over 3 years, right? That's a little about 3.5 years, almost that, to master your craft. Do you guys think it'll take that long to master anything? Um, I think it's a good reference point. And where do I get that from? That 10,000 hour rule was based on a book that was written by a guy by the name of Malcolm Gladwell. Let's find out a little bit about this guy, Malcolm Gladwell. Okay, he was a journalist, author, public speaker, and all that stuff. But he became famous because of this 10,000 hour rule thing. That he popularized. I don't know if he came up with it, but he popularized the idea based on his own research. Okay, but like I said, he's a journalist, author, public speaker. I've seen him on, speak, not in person, but I've seen him on online, and I kind of like how he approaches life and everything. He does give a analytical perspective to things and how they work and all that. So I could appreciate that about the guy. So he came up with this 10,000 hour rule. He popularized it in a book he wrote called Outliers: The Story of Success. It was published in 2008, and he said that this 10,000 hour rule, as he puts it, is the key to achieving world class expertise in any skill. So if you dedicate your 10,000 hours to anything, any skill, whatever it is, you'll become an expert at it. I'm talking not just an expert, world class expert at it. So, how true is that? I don't know. Does it take that long? I think in my book, it's a reference point. Does it can happen before that? It can happen after that. It depends on you. There are a lot of factors that go into you becoming very good at what you do. Okay. I mean, take for instance, if you have no distractions, you have no money issues, you don't have to go to work, this and all that. I don't know if we took that into account. Um, but some people are in environments that actually foster that that expert coming out, better than other people who say may come from a background with a lot of distractions, a lot of, you know, dysfunctions. Some people may come from dysfunctional environments, and we all know about people who come from those environments and still make it and still become the best at what they do, or at least seen as the best, right? By today's standards. But I it's not so much about dissecting this idea of 10,000 hours that I want to really get into and figure out if it's true or not. I kind of like the idea of 10,000 hours because not only is it a popular term people are familiar with, but it's a reference point that anybody can use, right? And at the end of the day, it's about dedication to your craft, whatever it is, putting the time in, and not giving up, being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, developing that delayed gratification muscle, right? Which, a lot of us do not have, but that's a muscle that has to be developed. You can call it patience or whatever. That's really what this live is about. And I want to kind of pull you guys into this live and kind of explore where you are in reference to this, arbitrary 10,000 hour rule title I put on the live. Where are you? Are you doing the things necessary for you to become great at what you do? And I know that could seem like a lot of pressure on you to become so-called great, but actually, all of this is really putting one foot in front of the other every day. Um, a friend of mine who was very successful uh, business person, they told me one time that all you got to do is do something every day, a little bit of something every day, right? And you'll get there. As simple as that, right? I mean, it's the law of physics. All you got to do is put one foot in front of the other, have a goal, have a direction, and stick and stay there. Just keep walking. Next thing you know, you're there, and you say, man, you look back and say, wow, you know. Let's see here. Where am I here? 7 days is a little much. Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you, but that's what I threw out there. Because me personally, I guess I think like that, but I hear you. I could have knocked it down to 5 days, but why not, right? Why not stretch yourself a little bit? Very good, likeness. I think more on the lines of 40 hours, so closer to 4.5 years. Hey, that'll work as well. That'll work too. You know, um, it's all about you. It's like I said, it's different factors. It depends on the individual, right? Some people are more dedicated than others, um, and that can be, you can say, well, just because somebody does something every day, are they really dedicated as somebody who doesn't do it every day? Because I remember hearing that taking breaks is actually better for productivity than not taking breaks. So you may have a point there, Perry Good Life Notes. Taking breaks, um, I think there was a study done where taking breaks are actually more beneficial when it comes to productivity. You're more productive, right? Because you rested, you come back to it later. It's good to take time off from what you're so focused on, right? And then take a break, let the brain rest or whatever, and come back to it. And if you think about it, when you go to the gym, you got to rest, right? You can't just keep working out. There's a time you got to rest. There's a time for the for the body to recuperate and recover and let the muscle fibers rebuild. And you're actually stronger coming back that way if you rest, right? So it's not about like, oh, I just got this goal, I'm going to drive straight to it and I'm not going to stop. that mentality can also that could be a destructive mentality as well. So yeah, okay, very good. Like those, I get it. 7 days could be a little much, right? 7 days a week could be a little much. Yeah. Yep. Regroup the thoughts and goals. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on the road to achieving mastery or achieving a goal, I should say. Sometimes you sit down and you may have an epiphany. You may have a light bulb moment where you say, "Oh, maybe I should go this way instead," right? Or you study more, you analyze, you take inventory of of all your actions thus far, and just by sitting down, taking that break, you're able to see other avenues that can actually get you to the goal quicker that you didn't see before. If you were so, focused, hyper focused, where you're not allowing for creativity to come in, right? And still stay focused, but you don't want to stay too how should I put it? You don't want to stay too constricted in your thinking, where you won't allow creativity to come in and actually uh, help you move faster or do it better, right? So I guess I'm assuming that's what you mean by regroup your thoughts and goals, right? So it's like a balance to everything, I guess, right? Um, so yeah, so this 10,000 hour rule. Let's talk a little bit more about Mr. Gladwell here. So anyway, he came up with this book called Outliers: The Story of Success, and he based it on a 10,000 hour rule that was, I guess, some guy named Anders Ericsson came up with based on his own research. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to quote here this article right here. I said, by the way, this article that's called Strategies for Influence. It's from the website strategiesforinfluence.com. If you guys want to check it out yourself. So let's see here. Um, Gladwell claimed that greatness, guys. You've heard that term, greatness. You ever heard of Les Brown? That's one of his terms he likes to use. You got greatness in you and all that stuff. But you do have greatness in you. I want you to remember that. But it's buried it's buried in you. It's not just gonna, I mean, so the real greatness, I should say, that the true potential is not so apparent. You have to bring it out. And part of the work of bringing it out is, is practice, dedication, and all that stuff you hear about. Okay, that's like the shovel that digs the dirt away so it can reveal what's already there in you. Okay, so never doubt that you don't have greatness. You do have greatness. It just sometimes it's covered up with a bunch of stuff you got to clear away, right? That can be bad habits, that can be the environment you're in, that can be the people you hang around with. Sometimes you got to get rid of those things in order to reveal your own greatness, right? Period, right? Sometimes you got to get rid of your own inner, like I said, habits or thoughts, your own lack of self-esteem, your lack of, you know, of the your lack of self-confidence, all that stuff. That stuff is like the dirt that covers your real greatness, and it doesn't mean you're better than anybody else. When I say greatness, I don't mean you're better. It's just revealing that nature, that the higher levels of yourself, the true potential in you. So yeah, so Gladwell claimed that greatness requires an enormous time investment in practice, and he provides several examples, including the Beatles, that group. Remember the Beatles, Bill Gates, and others. I guess he used those as examples in his book, how they became great at what they did. He explains that achieving the 10,000 hour rule is the key to success in any field. It's simply a matter of practicing a specific task for a long time. The 10,000 hour rule can be accomplished with 20 hours of work a week for 10 years. Okay, so he broke it down, and I guess according to in the book, I guess into those increments of 20 hours of work a week for 10 years. That's not a lot of work a week. That's half of a work week, right? 20 hours. Work week is 40 hours. According to him, it's 20 hours. So I guess if you do it for 40 hours, that's 5 years, right? It takes 5 years or so. But, if you want to speed it up. And he said, Gladwell also notes that he himself took 10 years to meet the 10,000 hour rule during his tenure at the American Spectator and the Washington Post. Like I said, he was a journalist, right? So he mastered his craft in that amount of time, where he considered himself a world-class expert, a world-class journalist, at, whatever, at what he did. Let me finish here. A Case Western Reserve University team has subsequently performed a review of over 9,000 research papers about practice relating to acquiring skills. In their paper, they found that deliberate practice explained 26% of the variance of performance for games, 21% for music, 18% for sports, 4% for education, and less than 1% for profession. They concluded that deliberate practice is important, but not as important as has been argued in Gladwell's book. So there are other people who have, or other organizations who have done research on this, the whole concept of practice in relations to expertise, and found they came to their own conclusions, right? So, and like I said before, when I started up this live, I don't necessarily agree with the 10,000-hour rule. That's what he came up with. That's what the Erickson guy, I guess, maybe, did his research on as well. But regardless, right, the meat of what I'm talking about here is you have to practice, you have to stick in it, and you have to be consistent. That's the meat of it. I mean, we can get into the, is it true or is it not? That's not really important to me. You if you practice something long enough, it will bear fruit. Goals. Yep. Goals. Yeah, guys. So that's what it's about, guys. That's what it's about. Okay. In order for you to achieve greatness at whatever your goals are, or whatever you see yourself as in, say, 6 months, next year, or next 5 years, or see yourself doing, or see yourself accomplishing, it's not going to happen by you sitting down thinking about it. You have to, you have to actually put the work in. Okay. You have to put the work in. And I do believe that it's just like the law of physics, right? It's just like the law of any law that you study in any science book, or any mathematical law, or, it just has to happen. It will happen, guaranteed. Matter of fact, most of us anyway are practicing this 10,000-hour rule. It's just we're doing it anyway. We're just not consciously doing it. There's something that we spend our time on every day, right? Whether it's looking at the internet all day, online, social media, whatever it is, it's just a matter of where you apply your focus, right? If your focus is applied in certain areas, oh yeah, the waffle too. Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what I'm here for. Every one of you guys have something you can contribute to the world, that's in you that hasn't been revealed yet, right? And the concept of living out your full potential, right? Potential is something that has not been realized yet. That's the definition of potential. So I truly believe it's our purpose in this life, in these physical bodies, to reveal our true potential, whatever that is. Okay. It doesn't mean you have to be a superstar celebrity, or superstar, or well-known or famous. It just means that you're very, you're mining the depths of who you are, right? And and all the gems and jewels that exist within you are there for a reason, and that reason is to serve, and contribute to the world, right? When a flower, hey Reno, how you doing, man? Glad you could drop in, buddy. Yeah. So when a flower, right? Think about a flower, right? A flower reveals itself when the sun, every day it reveals its own beauty, its true potential, right? And I know there's things that flowers do. They help to pollinate everything and all that stuff, and the bees come and all that stuff. But most people know flowers is just a beautiful plant, right? They reveal. So that's part of who we are as well. We have within us things that that are meant to be revealed to the world, that bring peace and happiness, joy, and all that stuff. And there's so much within us, but if we don't mind the depths of ourselves, right, really dig it out, and practice on that, whatever it is, a skill. In this channel we talk about learning how to use tools. Well, the reason that, what do we have tools for? We have tools to fix things, right? We need tools to fix things. We need tools to build things, right? Without tools, you wouldn't have this building I'm in right now. You wouldn't have that car you're driving right now. You wouldn't have that pen you're writing with. Uh, so that's I always thought of tools as an extension of the mind, right? That are able to do things that our physical bodies can't. But that's the potential of man. Man has the ability to create things. He has the ability, man, he or she, right? Because man is not just a he, it's man. When I say man, I mean human beings. You have the ability to create things, physical things that actually can do things that our physical bodies can't. There's animals don't do that. You know, what I mean, at least animals. I don't know of any animals that does that in the animal kingdom, but we uniquely have that ability to do it, right? Um, and that's part of what I call revealing our potential, right? And we can use it either for good or we can use it for not so good, right? Um, so, but either way, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not like you could just snap your finger and something happens. You have to put in the time, right? Trial and error, research and development. That's what it's about until you come up with a good prototype that works, and then you can constantly improve on whatever you've built, whatever you've manifested, created, manufactured in the world, and make it better and better and better. And that's what it's all about. Okay, you want to make yourself better and better and better, and you don't want to stay stagnant. Staying stagnant is okay, I'll give you an analogy. If a pool of water, or if you have a bucket of water sitting outside for a day, let's just say it's sitting outside for one day, and it's clear, and the water's, you just poured the water in there from whatever, and it's nice and clear, nothing wrong with it. And then after a week, is that water as clear? No, because dust has settled in it. It's a little bit dirty. Film starts to form on the top of the water. Um, Insects start to, have babies in the water. Larvae floating around. I mean, all kinds of stuff just becomes a mess. So think of a lake that just does not move. It doesn't flow. Think of a lake that does not flow. Okay. It's just sitting there, a stagnant lake of water, a stagnant body of water. It has all kinds of things in there. I mean, you can't even see it. It's so dirty, right? Because everything is allowed to settle. It was never flowing. It was never flowing. And if we're like that, if we're stagnant like that in our own lives, um, guess what? All kinds of things start to accumulate within us, within our minds. You can equate the mind with this as an analogy as well. You can say, okay, you can take the mind and put it in place of that body of water I'm talking about that does not move. Well, if the mind is still, it's not, it's not moving, it's not learning, it's not studying, it's not stretching itself. It's just stuck in one mode, right? It's not growing at all. Then what happens? What happens to it? It starts to atrophy because it's not getting exercised. Just like the body, if the body doesn't move, it starts to atrophy. That's just the law of the universe. That's the law. That's the law of life. That's the law of the physical world. Things have to move in order to stay alive, stay fresh, and all of that. So that's what practice is. When you're practicing your craft, you're learning every time you mess up, every time you're learning something all the time. And even though you may feel, oh, I practice all day and I'm still, I still can't get it, you're actually getting it. You're actually better, right, than when you started in the beginning of the day. And you practice all day and you may say, oh, well, I haven't got it yet. Yeah, it may seem that way, but you have got it but it's a learning curve. It takes time. It's not always perceptible that you are actually getting better, right? You are actually getting better. You're concentrating on, you're trying to get better. And then one day it's going to click on you, right? It's going to click on you. There was something I wanted to show you guys, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You're practicing something and it seems like you just can't get it. And then one day you get it. It just clicks. You weren't even trying that hard. And then you got it. Boom. Just like that. Okay. So that's what it's about. You gotta put in the time in order to get to that level of mastery. And to be quite honest, I don't think you ever stop learning anything. There's always higher levels to it. But you can master certain levels, right? So you master the levels, but you never really master it, because that's the nature of how should I put, the nature of I don't think there's ever a level that you get to and you stop, right? You're always expanding, ever expanding, right? You never really stop, but you can master certain levels, and very high levels you can achieve. High levels of mastery you can achieve, but you have to keep at it. So you can, I know guys that are or guys and gals that are in their 60s, 70s, still learning. And you got to respect that, right? You got to respect that, because a true master is always a student. A true master is always a student. You never stop learning, right? You never stop adding to your library of knowledge, and not just adding to it, but actually applying that knowledge. And that's the fun part: applying it, seeing if it works, seeing what doesn't work. Prairie Girl Life Notes, definitely learning is infinite. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm getting at. You never stop learning. Um, I mean, even after you leave this physical form, you're probably still learning something, right? And that's the beautiful part about life. You never stop expanding, and the potential is really never tapped fully. There's no end, and that's the beautiful part of that. But yeah, this whole 10,000 hour rule thing, don't get caught up in that. I mean, it's a good reference point. It's a good reference point, and that's why I made it the title of the video, the title of the live. But don't feel okay. I'm going to count the hours. No, just practice, right? You don't want to concentrate so much on the hours you put in. Do something because you love doing it, you enjoy doing it, and the more you enjoy doing something, the more you enjoy learning it, the closer to mastery you will become, right? The closer to an expert at something you will become. And there's a saying that an expert can be defined as, you just know a little bit more than the next person. It's not like you know everything, but you know a little bit more than the next person, right? So even that whole concept of knowing everything, no, that's false. You never know everything, and that's because like Prairie Girl Life Nurse said, it's infinite. It's infinite. Here's a quote. I like a quote from this guy, Malcolm Gladwell. It says, "It's very hard to find someone who's successful and dislikes what they do." It's very hard to find someone who's successful and dislikes what they do. Practice isn't the thing you do once you're good. It's the thing you do that makes you good. Okay? Extraordinary achievement is less about talent than it is about opportunity. Think about that. What do you guys think about that last quote? Extraordinary achievement is less about talent than it is about opportunity. Let's dissect that a little bit. So yeah, there's okay, so we all know talent, very talented individuals, right? I mean, you can think about the sports world, or even the world of tech. There's very talented tech people. Yeah, whatever, artists. I mean, just seems like they were born doing it, right? Yeah, there's talent, and that's great. But talent doesn't necessarily make you an expert. And feel free to come in the comments and give me your 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents on this here, okay? And tell me about it. But a lot of talented people have fell by the wayside in life. They were talented as you know what. I mean, just natural. But it didn't mean that they became successful, right? So there's more to it than talent. There's more to life, more to what we call success, than raw talent. Okay, that's not going to get you to the finish line. It may get you far. But it's not going to get you to the finish line. A lot of talented people cannot even. Okay, I'll put it like this: if you're able to teach and relay certain concepts to someone, I think that's higher than talent, in my opinion, right? That you're able to spread knowledge in a way where the masses can pick it up and understand. That in itself can be seen as a talent, but I think it's more valuable than just a one man show who's just talented, right? The ability to um, the ability to communicate your ideas, okay, to a team of people that you are in sync with, okay, and you can get things done exponentially. You'll be more productive because there's more people that are on your that are in sync with you, right? That's the big that's talent. These guys like Henry Ford and all the people you hear about, um, or read about in American history books, um, that created these big industries, captains of industry they call them, and all that stuff. They were good at their talent was not necessarily building the product. Their talent was the ability to gather those who had the expertise in a certain niche, and to bring all those people together, right, to create something, right, and to create a company, to create a product. Their talent was get the ability to get everybody together, get the resources together, and get it so they can get the job done. Okay, to me, that's more than that talent is more valuable than one person who has very extremely talented in one thing. Because if you talk about business, I mean, it's not dependent on one person, okay, unless you're just a one man show. But any great business, company, enterprise, organization depends on multiple people. Depends on uh, many individuals coming together to make this thing function, right? To make this thing function, and the talent, okay, the talent to be able to uh, organize and coordinate all of these different individuals and different personalities. That's a talent in itself, and that takes practice, right? So there's talent, and then there's practice. Is what I'm trying to get at here. Talent is not the end of the road, right? You have to have other things. Delayed gratification, is that a talent? Sorry about that, guys. I've been fighting this cough for a minute. Is delayed gratification a talent? No, nobody's born with the ability to have the delayed gratification. I mean, you can question that, but most of us, I think, are born. We want it now. We want it right now. We're like kids. We want our dessert right now. Everything now. Very impatient, right? That's just delayed gratification is something that has to be practiced, right? It has to be practiced. It's not an innate talent. And if you're born that way, that's great. But for most people, we don't have that talent. We have to practice delayed gratification. We have to practice not getting, being able to see the future and say, okay, I'm not going to do this now because that's what I want later. You know, those are things you have to practice. Okay. If you're talking about learning a skill, right? Somebody may be talented at playing the guitar. Somebody may be talented at using one of these tools I talk about on this channel. Uh, Most people aren't, though. You got to learn it, and some people take longer than others. But nonetheless, it's not necessarily a skill you're born with, right? You have to practice. You have to practice. You have to put the work in. You have to put the work in, guys. And I guarantee you, if you put the work in, just like if you drop a seed into the dirt, into the ground, into good soil, I should say, if you drop a seed into good soil, it will sprout. Okay. Think about the concept of farming, right? There's stages to it. You drop the seed and you still got to wait for it to sprout and germinate, right? So, right. Someone gets pregnant, right? The baby doesn't pop out right when fertilization happens. It takes 9 months. Right? Things have to happen behind the scenes. Things have to happen behind the scenes. So you have to have that ability to put the work in, and also the ability to be patient and wait, right? Because things are the way this whole thing is set up, and I'm not trying to get too metaphysical or anything like that. Is excuse me, I should add some water with me, right? But yeah, the way things work out here is like everything you do is like planting a seed. So when you're practicing whatever you do, whatever your craft is, you're planting a seed every time you put that work and that time in, and it will eventually blossom. Okay, it will eventually manifest into mastery. Okay, at some point, it will eventually manifest into mastery. Right? That's just the law. You do not have to doubt that at all. That's guaranteed. A lot of us have mastered things already. We don't even know we mastered. We mastered procrastination. We've mastered gossiping. We've mastered you think of all the negative habits. Some people master drugs, drinking, fighting, whatever. We've mastered those things. Those are things easy to master, right? But those are low hanging fruit. We most of us master that stuff, right? But when it comes to the higher fruit, the fruit on top of the tree, the thing you got to climb the tree to get that fruit, that takes time, that takes practice, that takes work. And sometimes you got to fall down, get back up, fall down, get back up, but you got to keep climbing until you reach it. Until you reach it, okay? Until you sprout those wings, you're able to soar. You're able to soar. Right? All right. Anyway, guys, just want to drop that on you. The guy's book the name of the book is called Outliers. If you want to read it for yourself, author Malcolm Gladwell. He's got some pretty good things to say. I appreciate his work he put out there. I thought I'd kind of drop that on you guys a little bit tonight. And just think about that, guys. Let that sink in for a second. Maybe watch this live again and maybe glean some gems out of what I said. I know I talked a lot. I kind of went a little fast there, but if you watch it again, maybe you could pick something out that could help you in your life to move forward. Every one of you you're going somewhere, whether you know it or not. Okay, you're going somewhere, and it's time for you to take the helm and direct where you're going, right? And you can do that with this right here, your thoughts. Okay, your thoughts, and take the appropriate actions. And if you fall down, just get back up. Keep practicing, whatever it is, and you'll get there. You get there. So I want to say thanks to everybody that came in and listened to me rant tonight. Waffle 2, Paragould Life Notes. Okay. Reno, thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate you. And hope you guys have a good week and stay safe out there. Stay dry as well. Okay. Take care.